offensive line, the worst position you can put Joe Burrow in is second and long or third and long, where those guys know that you're going to have to throw the ball. If they hand the ball off and it's 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 11 because Mixon gets stuffed in the backfield, it's going to be a tough day for Burrow because he can't afford to keep knocked around like he was by Tennessee.
You're absolutely right. There has to be a limit with this young man because, of course, he spent last year. I don't know what he got injured in, like game 9, game 10, where he had the knee injury. So, it can't be 100%, right?
Exactly. And I think one of the big things, too, is will he be tentative if he has to try and run away from the pressure? I mean, I give him all the credit in the world for all the hits he's taken. He was sacked 51 times in the regular season. He's been dumped 12 times in the playoffs.
Yeah, more than any other team, by the way.
Exactly. And by the way, the team that led the league in sacks was the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had 55.
Right.
So congratulations to them for not making the playoffs at all.
They're just one player away, though, Scott. I mean, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one that is. Maybe Joe Green or Lynn Swan or somebody like that.
But they're looking for a quarterback, buddy. They're looking.
They can go get Terry Bradshaw back. I hear he's available.
Can I get it? Can I get a Terry Hanratty? Anybody?
Oh boy.
I don't know who's more excited and/or delusional, the people of Pittsburgh or the people of Denver, about Aaron Rodgers.
That's a good question. I think obviously Denver's got all kinds of problems. I don't think that Rodgers wants to go there. I mean, B. He'd be turning around and handing the ball off a lot with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. So he doesn't have a Devontae Adams there in Denver if he were to go there. If you think about it, you got Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, you got Noah Fant. At least you have a tight end.
Now, see, if you listen to the Denver people, they'll tell you that they have better wide receiver personnel than he had in Green Bay, even though they're missing a superstar like Devontae Adams. They love Cortland Sutton when he can stay on the field.
They might have had better receivers when they had the three amigos, but I don't see Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson out there with Ricky Teal at this point of things. And Cortland Sutton, sure, he's a good receiver, and like you said, but he's got to stay healthy, and that's not necessarily what happens. And like we said, Tim Patrick, he's a good possession guy, but there's not a guy like Devontae Adams. They don't even have an Alan Lazard on that team.
Yeah, that's true. And Lazard is a guy that I absolutely loved when he was at Iowa State. I got to see him play, I think 3 times against K-State. I think I saw it each year, and he was a man among boys. When I saw him play, I was really impressed. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done more there with Rodgers in Green.
Well, if Rodgers quit throwing the ball 850 times to Devontae Adams every game, maybe somebody else could get some targets.
True, very true. David the Dominator Hess is in the house. What's up, Dave? Jones here. Can't stay long. Just wanted to say hello and good luck today. Absolutely, Joan. Let's make that Super Bowl money. Hey, Joan, before you get out of here, what's your pick? What's your favorite? Give me your pick for the game and give me your favorite prop before you get out of here. And David, do the same thing. I'm everybody that stops by, I'm going to ask them what their play is on the side and what their favorite prop action is.
David probably stopped by just to say he was here and then left.
That's probably true. Chris, I know. We've got a big show planned. We've got a lot of things happening. By the way, I wanted to say at the very top, thanks to KTLA for that live shot of the $5 billion SoFi Stadium there in Inglewood, because of
course Stan Kroenke paid about $3.
You know what? I'm a Missouri guy. Don't even get me started on Stan Kroenke, native of Columbia, Missouri, who may have married better than anyone in human history. I think that's entirely possible.
I'll have to take your word on that because I don't know who you married.
Married into the Walmart family.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
David loves the over in the game, and Joan has the Bengals and no score in the first 6.5 minutes. I think those are both good plays. And I don't know if I haven't heard your prediction, Chris. I don't know if you and I agree on this or not.
We usually don't, but that's what makes it entertaining, right?
Absolutely true. Joan, for your sake and mine, good luck on the Bengals. And I also have a prop about the score in the first quarter as well. So let's just say no score in the first 6.5 minutes would be a good thing for me as well. So I'm going to be right there rooting with you. Got any squares, Chris?
No, I didn't do any squares. I know my mother-in-law did, but they're just too fickle for me because you're at the fate of getting a good number. And if you get some number like, 5.
I think Reichel has 1 and 2.
Well, I guess he's hoping for 21-12.
It's good.
And we're not talking about the Rush album, for those of you out there looking for the Temples of Syrinx.
Top 5 albums of all time in my book, by the way.
Yeah, I would put it up there. I like it.
Love.
I've always been a Rush fan, but
back in the day when
pictures,
back in the day when you could still do an entire side of an album with one song,
right?
4 parts, but it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be, in a way, it's going to be a contrast in styles. Are you worried about who can run the ball for the Rams, Scott? Damn it.
I should put out a swear jar for this. I could be rich by the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever has the over under me calling you Scott, I'm thinking the number's somewhere in the neighborhood of 9.5. And I would pound.
Does that count the 3 you've already done?
Yeah, no, it doesn't count the 3 I've already done. I'm talking about from here forward. I'd pound the over. That's all I'm saying.
I think, now you've got, like you said, you've got a 3-headed running back because Darrell Henderson is supposed to be back. I actually said one of my favorite props was Cam Akers under 62.5 yards on the ground because A, he hasn't done anything in the playoffs anyway, and B, after he fumbled twice against Tampa Bay and let them back in the game, I wouldn't give him the ball either.
I think he's going to have a quick hook, if nothing else. You start bobbling that ball, God forbid, you put one on the ground. I think he's done. So I think
with Sony Michel, he's been there, done that before. Playing in New England, and Henderson, with having 3 guys, it's going to limit the number of carries that anybody's going to get. And
right.
I don't trust Akers anyway.
No. 2.7 yards since he's come back. Not good at all, Chris.
Right. And he had that one big play on a pass against Arizona, and everything else has been nothing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. I think the team that is able to run the ball successfully and convert their short intermediate routes, get those guys in space, I think that's going to be the team that wins. Who you got for this game, Chris?
I actually think that the Bengals, they peaked. They're a year ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. They got a ton of talent. I just don't know how they react to the biggest stage there is. I mean, we always see teams that have inexperience kind of shy back in this environment. We saw the Rams do it a few years ago against New England when they put up a whole 3 points. I think the Rams will win. I think it's going to be one of those games that goes right down to the wire. But I think, Stafford has experience. He's won 3 playoff games now. It's more he won in his entire career. And McVay has been here before too. That's something you can't say for Zach Taylor as a head coach. I think the Rams are going to pull it out, much to my chagrin, because frankly, like we said, neither one of us have real rooting interest in this game. And
are you in any way, like, were you cheering against the Chiefs last week just because they beat your Bills, or 2 weeks ago rather?
No, I just wanted to see a competitive game. I thought it was interesting to see that the game went to overtime, and then have Mahomes throw an interception. I thought that was an interesting change of pace. My question to you was, why didn't Steve Spagnuolo blitz Burrow, given the fact that, he'd been, given how bad Cincinnati's offensive line was?
Well, it could have something to do with the fact, and I know it did, because Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL against the rush. And you know who's number 2? I mean, against the blitz, rather. Sorry.
Is 2 Stafford or is 2 Mahomes?
No, 2 is Stafford. 2 is Stafford. So you've got 2 teams that traditionally don't blitz and aren't going to need to blitz. And if they do,
there you go, Scott. It would be easier for Reichel to join the show if you sent him the link.
I assumed Jim sent him the email.
Yeah, I thought he was on the email too.
Was too. All right. Well, let me. There he is.
Were you not on the email?
Did you not get the email?
No, I didn't get anything. So I was just sitting around for 20 minutes waiting for something. But how's it going?
Going well. It's Scott Reichel. That's my co-host of our show that we do every day, Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. That is on the Whiners and Whiners Sports Betting Network, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Good to have him aboard. You missed about 20 minutes, Scott, so you still got an hour and 40 left. I think we're going to be okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we were betting that you took a nap and forgot to set an alarm.
No, I was actually trying to call Steehn, but I didn't realize you guys started recording anyway, so my bad.
Oh, yeah, we wait for no man.
Okay. I was waiting for the link, so
I'm waiting for no man, and neither does the show.
We got a schedule. Well, welcome to the show, bud. We were talking about who we have and what our favorite prop play is. I think anybody that comments, I'm gonna try to ask that. I'm gonna put it out to the comment section. Everybody listening, throw that up there in the comment section. And we also have some questions to get to. But Scott, what do you like in the game today?
So I know when we did the show originally, I was looking at the Bengals. I think it was +4 when we did the initial recording.
Right.
And now it's at around 4.5 in most spots. The more I'm thinking about it, I feel like I can understand the Rams argument more. But truth is, I still like the Bengals plus the points. I see this game coming down to the wire. I trust Burrow more than I trust Stafford. And I do think that Cincinnati has been really solid at making second half adjustments. And one thing we've seen from McVay in the past, whether it involved the Bengals game, whether it involved week 18 against the 49ers, this team just randomly, I don't want to say falls apart in the second half, but it seems like they're very slow to actually respond to proper adjustments. And I do think that Cincinnati is always a threat to keep this game close because we've seen their real just comeback mentality for the second half of most of their playoff games. So for me, I still like Cincinnati plus the points. I can understand if you're looking at all the battles up front and you like the Rams, but at the end of the day, the Bengals have just been a team that's been able to hang in there, and I think they'll hang in there once again.
And you got a prop for everybody out there in TV/radio/computer land?
Well, we already did the prop show, but I'll just repeat my favorite one from the game. I like Odell over. Okay. I got the number at 60.5 for receiving yards. I believe that's up to around 62 or 63. But you're looking at some quotes, and apparently Eli Apple has been begging the coaching staff to let him guard Odell, which is what I expected to happen. I think that he's going to guard Odell, and there's a reason why I like the over. It's because I don't think Eli Apple's very good. So I think Odell should have a decent amount of opportunities to put up some big receptions. I think he'll do pretty well, and I think Odell will probably finish the game with 70 plus.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to have to look for other options other than the two headliners as far as receivers go. I think both teams are going to have to look for their secondary receivers. For the Cincinnati, of course, that means Boyd and Higgins. And for the Rams, it means Odell. The other problem for the Rams, the second leading receiver, or the guy that caught the second most balls, was Tyler Higbee. He's out. So how much is that going to affect the game, guys?
It means you might want to take a prop on Blanton if you think that Blanton's going to be on the field for, I don't even know, 70+% of the snaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might see a little bit of a trickle up on the actual number for Blanton because of that, but based on how often Higbee was actually targeted, I think it would be worth maybe a shot to take either the over in receptions for Blanton or even a touchdown at any time if you think that the number should be, I'd say, more adjusted than it actually is.
Well, I mean, if you look at Blanton in the NFC title game, he had 5 catches on 5 targets for 57 yards and a score after Higbee went down. So, I mean, he's obviously going to be involved in the offense if he's on the field. And to your point about the Rams not making adjustments, Scott, you have to remember they were down 17-7 going into the fourth quarter of the NFC title game. For all the talk about how the Rams don't adjust, they outscored San Francisco 13-0 in the fourth quarter, or they wouldn't be here right now.
Well, and they were also down to Green Bay as well. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Niners. Yeah. I'm talking about the Rams against Tampa Bay. Yep. Not. It wasn't. They let them back in that game. They've shown the ability both to come back in the second half and to piss away a lead in the second half. So I'm not sure.
I blame Cam Akers for them blowing that lead.
He's still with him, isn't he?
Yeah, that's because nobody's gonna get
he's with them maybe 50-50 because you're not sure how bad the shoulder injury is, so he might be limited. I know that Henderson's supposed to be back, so I am curious if the Rams will stick to a 3-headed rushing attack or maybe a 2. So I think you will see less Akers than people think because of the fact that the Rams are pretty deep at that position. But even with the Rams coming back against the Niners, they did have the benefit of going against one of the biggest chokers so far in his coaching career in Shanahan, who's been known to blow pretty big leads in the fourth quarter on a regular basis. So, yes, the Rams did come back in that game. Truth is, they probably shouldn't have been down by that much in the first place. They just couldn't finish off drives for the first three quarters. But I acknowledge that point in the NFC title game. But I have seen the Rams time and time again seem to struggle putting teams away. And if you're going to cover 4.5, you kind of need to deliver the dagger. And I'm not sure the Rams can do that on a regular basis.
By the way, the Dominator's got his top three prop bets, and these all tie in with his over pick, and they are Matt Gay extra points made over 2.5, Kupp over 102.5, and Stafford over 279.5. So I'm guessing Dave sees a big blowout win for the Rams with the total going over, and the Rams executing on offense like they have all year.
And to your point there, Scott, about the Rams not closing things out. I mean, look at the Bengals. They don't get by Tennessee if Tennessee commits to running the ball. I mean, look, Ryan Tannehill threw a pick on the first play of the game. They get in the red zone in the third quarter. Ryan Tannehill throws a pick there. The last play that Tennessee has the ball, Tannehill throws another interception. You ran for 140 yards and averaged almost 6 yards a carry. If they stick to running the ball, we're not even talking about the Bengals right now.
That's correct. Summer Sweat points out the steam's coming in on the Rams. Wonder where it closes. Yeah, we talked about that. And you get to those numbers, you get over 4, and it ain't that hard to get to 5.5. Now it is hard on the Super Bowl to move the line. It takes a lot of action to move the line, but it does look like there is Rams money coming in right now. Does that surprise you guys?
I would say no, just because I think the mismatch up front is so noticeable with that Rams defensive line that I was expecting a decent amount of people to like the Rams in this game. So I'm not surprised that in the trenches, the Sharps like the Rams to get the job done. But I feel like the question that you have to ask now is this one more likely to go back to 4 or go up to 5?
I think it's going to 5.
I think you're right. I think it's going to go up. I don't see it coming back down. I mean, you already saw Mattress Mac throw down, what was it, $5 million on the Bengals earlier in the week. I don't see him running out and throwing up another bet now.
Somebody asked this in the chat, and it was a great question. Does Mattress Mac move a line when he bets $5 million?
Yeah, in the opposite direction.
And my contention is it does not. I don't think he's anywhere near sharp money. So
he's a recreational player, and recreational players tend to not move money.
That's it.
Or not move lines.
That's true. But I mean, it is a huge chunk of money for somebody to throw down. I mean, it was the biggest bet that Caesar's app had taken at that point because he drove across the border to go to Louisiana to do it.
Do you think they take that bet from everybody, though?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
I do think accepting them. I can run out right after this and go put down a $5 million bet after the show.
I think if Billy Walters walks in with a duffel bag full of cash, they're not taking his $5 million. That's all.
I think the book's accepted it for a couple reasons. One, because historically speaking, Mattress Mac's not exactly the sharpest bettor in the world. B, the main reason, publicity, because they know that if they take the bet, then you are going to have X amount of people following him and X amount of people fading him. So if the point is you want to get a bunch of action on the game, Mattress Mac is a betting figure for better or worse, and he'll attract a lot of people who want to bet on the game and don't really know what they're doing.
Very good. All right, guys, we're going to keep the extravaganza rolling. We have promised you first-class guests, and we deliver. We're going to bring in a couple of our pals from Picks and Parlays. It's Detroit Lenny.
Yes, sir.
And help me, is it Ali or Ali?
Ali.
All right. I should have gone with my first guess. It's Ali and Lenny. Welcome to the show, everybody. How you guys doing today?
Rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Excited.
Thanks for having us on, by the way.
Absolutely. We're going to cover everything from all the angles. First of all, are you excited about the matchup?
I am. I mean, I'm a diehard. Obviously, I'm from Detroit. I'm in Vegas now, living in Vegas like the last 12 years or so. I love football first and foremost over everything. It's like football, hockey, family, like distant family for me. So there's a little bit of gratitude to having Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl because we drafted him. At least we know we can draft a Super Bowl quarterback. We just can't do shit with him. So there's that. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. I had a
Are
hard
you
time
going to buy
sleeping.
Detroit Rams merchandise, Lenny?
Absolutely not. That's embarrassing. I'm not. My cousin sent me a picture, who still lives in Michigan. He sent me a picture of the store, and there were fans picketing out front of that store that was selling it in the mall, and the owner apparently got some death threats. And I mean, it's Detroit's a different place. So
You can give a death threat to a guy for putting up something about the Rams. I mean, when's the last time the Lions did anything? I mean, Bobby Lane was quarterback.
right, but I mean, look, you got to ride or die with your team, and
Look
I'm
behind
not,
Or look
Yeah, I
behind
know.
you.
Yeah. So I mean, imagine that Buffalo on there, but it said Pittsburgh or something like that. You did
Now,
go,
you're
yeah.
a little bit better off saying Miami because everybody hates Miami.
There you go, Miami. Something like that. So
All right, Lenny. Before I get to Allie's pick, which of the 4 teams in Detroit wins the championship first?
It's a toss up for me. I like the Red Wings right now. The Red Wings are a very young team. They got 2 outstanding rookies on their team with Lucas Raymond and Cedar. I like them, but the Tigers, people think I'm nuts, but the Tigers pitching staff has made some moves, and the Tigers' first 5 made car payments last year, so that was my favorite bet of the year. We do a lot of contest stuff on picks and parlays, so that was like a go-to contest bet. Tigers' first 5. The bullpen sucks, but we've made some moves, and I do like the Tigers.
Yeah.
They can create win energy now that you signed Javier Baez away from us after we traded him. He'll hit 230, but he'll strike out a lot. So, you can power between that Lake Michigan, you'll be good.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Now, Allie, who you got today?
So I'm rooting for the Rams. I'm not the biggest football person in the world, but my good friend here, Detroit Lenny, I've been taking picks off of him all season long. I'm much more college basketball and baseball focused. But Lenny has taught me a lot this season, and one of the main things he's taught me is that the Rams can't win the Super Bowl unless Matt Stafford throws an interception. So I have bet on Matt Stafford over 0.5 interceptions for this game. That's one of my big ones right there.
Great prop.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%. I've cashed on it several times this year, so that was good. We also competed in the Circa contest. We were 1 point out of the money, weren't we, Lenny?
Yeah, we finished in 51st spot, and they only paid top 50.
Do you have a team that you hate now because you were 1 spot out?
Who's dead to you guys?
Honestly, I was to say the Bengals screwed us out of a couple games this year. We made some mistakes. We did. It was our first year, and we made some rookie mistakes along the way, and we learned from them, and it is what it is. But the Rams, we rode that wagon all the way here,
I was trying to let you avoid accountability. I was trying to let you blame a team so you don't have to admit the mistakes that you made. But okay,
But
you took the high road on that. I'll respect it.
A big part of our Morningwood show is teaching novice bettors not who to bet, but how to bet on sports, So the whole idea of going into a contest structure, there were certain things we were trying to focus on. You don't want to pick the Thursday game because all of your picks have to be in if you're going to take that Thursday game. And so, anything can happen between Friday and Saturday when they play on Sunday as far as injuries go and stuff like that. We tried to stay off the high profile games, the Sunday night, the Monday night games, because those are a little bit more volatile with the lines the book setting and how the outcome happens. So it was a great learning experience. We had a couple 5-0 weeks. We had some 4-1 weeks, but the learning experience was really, I think, what we took out of that. So next
it was
season,
fun.
baby. Next season.
So
next season it's on.
Coming for the millions, Circa. Listen up.
Opportunity for a little humble brag. You were 51st out of how many entries?
4,000 something.
Yeah, over that, because the tie would always be, and I'm not even going to say it. The tie would always be tied between 3,675 or something. So
there you go.
There were a lot.
So you don't really know. There was a lot, and it was fun. It was fun to enter and pick. There's 5 people on our team, so we had to submit 5 picks. So we all kind of
drafted them too.
We had to talk about it. We had to consensus it. It wasn't just okay, you give a pick and that's your pick and that's law. We kind of consensused it, and that worked and didn't work sometimes. And we were able to stay off the Lions all year.
I thought we had them one time.
No, they tried to talk me into taking them on Thanksgiving, and I said no.
But that was the day they cashed, wasn't it?
They cashed a few times, and but they weren't bad against the spread. But it is what it is.
I will tell you, the Lions came up with new and interesting ways to lose almost every week.
They really did.
Every year they do.
The 97-yard
they do.
They gave up to Baltimore there. That was incredible. The fourth down catch before the field goal. Just unbelievable. I will say this real quick. I think the Lions culture has changed with Dan Campbell. I'm a Motor City Dan fan. And I like Dan Campbell, and I think what he's doing there is good. I do think we have some really core young players, but we're a couple years of being maybe legit. And I say maybe very carefully. I heard you guys mention your show real quick. Let me give you a chance to plug here. I should have done that. I was remiss not to let you do it up top. I'm so excited to have you on the show. We'll do it again at the end. But what are you guys doing right now over there at Picks and Parlays?
So we have a lot of stuff going on. It all kind of started snowballing. I started a show called Morning Wood. Our boss, Craig Trapp, said, Allie, you're really good at picking college basketball. Why don't you start your own little show giving out picks? Yeah, Morning Wood, bet on it. So I started doing that. And in the process of it, I noticed that a lot of our commenters were really sharp commenters, and they're like your average Joe guys. And in sports betting, all you want to do is have other people recognize how good you are, that you cash the bet. So I kind of started this contest. We call it the Last Woody Standing, where every Tuesday you come in on the live show and we write your name and your pick, and then if I erase you if you're wrong, and they stay on there, and it's for $100 in a t-shirt. It usually lasts about a week and a half. I've taken it down twice. Lenny's taken it down once. So it's a really fun way to interact with our online community. And then through that, we picked up the twins, the Earl Sports Bets twins, Tim and Nick Earl. And then Lenny does a show with them. Go ahead, Lenny, your Game Time Decision show.
Yeah, we do Game Time Decision Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific time. And we go over NBA injury report for that day, NHL injury report, goalie updates, COVID crap, all that stuff, right. Who's in, who's not, and kind of run through that. Baseball season, we do more baseball stuff, obviously with pitchers in and out and stuff like that. But we do a lot of contests at Picks and Parlays. We just have strictly a hockey contest, and they're all last man standing kind of thing. You just go till you win. And we do a Handicapping contest, we call it. It's a 30-day contest where everybody enters, and you got to give 2 picks a day, 2 best bets, minus 150 or better, for 30 days. So it's 60 picks, and whoever has the best just win-loss record at the end of the day, and they can win 250 is first place, second place I think is 100, and third place is 50, something like that. And that is a challenge. It's a grind. It's a good way to just like what Allie said, just to talk trash with other guys and girls. I mean, I could say that there's a lot of sharp girls in our group, ladies, the Par ladies, they call themselves.
Yeah. I was going to say, I found a group. There's 14 of us total now. Well, including me, there's 15 of us, and it's women that I've kind of found in the show and exchanged numbers, and we're all in a group chat, and we call ourselves the Par ladies, and those are some sharp ladies as well. So really,
they're all nuts too. Women. They're all nuts. They're all nuts.
In a good way, I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, they love me. Well, they love to drive me nuts.
In the words of H.M. Murdoch, and not nuts, I'm condiments. I got promoted.
But we do a lot of contest stuff, though.
And I do a show called Total Chaos also that happens every night. We record it, but it's basically 2 to 4 handicappers going head-to-head, telling me which games are going over and under. I give them 5 or 6 games and ask who's over and under, and then whoever gets the most correct is the Total Chaos champ, and they come back. And some of our Morningwood viewers have actually competed against our Picks and Parlays handicappers on that show, too. So it's just a lot of fun. We like to have fun. We're all at Picks and Parlays, we're all pretty legit friends. We're all in group text together. We're all sharing action all day long and supporting each other. So it's a really fun bunch over at Picks and Parlays. We have a good time.
That's weird because we all despise each other. So,
but yeah, I mean, secretly we despise each other. But when Allie Burns texts me a Russian table tennis play, I will play that because she handicaps Russian table tennis.
Where do you find the stats, Allie? Because I have a background in table tennis, believe it or not. I would love to find the stats and be able to watch it.
There is a website out there, but honestly, this was something I picked up during the quarantine through the pandemic where there was nothing to
total degenerating.
And so my handle is Plus Money Honey. So I would just kind of look through and compare, okay, Dimitri is a minus 150 here, but he's a plus 102 here. And the guy he's playing is this. And it was really just like studying the way that the lines stacked up to each other and who was more likely to win based on the other players they're playing, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And so I really just kind of go through it and they pop out to me and I just kind of can see them. Now I've done it so long, I know who's who, but it was just like a mental exercise to keep my handicapping brain sharp during the quarantine when there was nothing to bet on. I mean, now we bet on Lenny's kids flag football. We'll bet.
I'll set live. I'll text her and Nick and Tim Earl, guys we work with as well, and I'll in a group chat, and I'll go. Hey, and my son, my youngest, he's 9. He's in 4th grade, so he's playing flag football or whatever. And I'm like, all right, it's halftime. It's 9-6. I'm gonna set the over under here at 18. And then they'll respond back with, over all day. It's all fun. So we just joke. We talk a lot of trash to each other, and
So is the flag football a bare bones operation, or do you have player props before the game? You got props?
So basketball, I had player props when he played basketball because my son, his name's Brendan. We call him B Money. And I said, B Money. He's a defensive kid. He's a defensive juggernaut. He can't he can't hit the backboard. He can't hit the side of a barn with the basketball if he's trying to shoot. But he could steal the ball. He plays hell of a defense, and usually the over/under on his rebound total is about 4.5. So it's not bad.
So for the flag football games, I gotta ask, since you're setting the lines, what's the juice you price the coin toss at?
I won't do the coin toss. I've never done that.
That's where you
go. No, but I will do first pass and complete or complete. That's always plus money because it's again 9th grader or 9-year-olds. So the first pass is if it's complete, that's like plus 300 all day. Because it's always incomplete. Will somebody run the wrong way at one point in the game? That's always
an own goal.
Like minus 110.
I thought it was higher, minus 150.
Nah, it's a 50-50 shot, because you don't. It really all depends. They get so excited, baseball. And they're 9. They don't know where they're going.
I do remember about the actual game. Sorry, I know Allie gave out her favorite play, which was Stafford interception. I actually cashed that in the NFC title game.
Somebody in the comment section, by the way, said no, because Scott and I have had a sketchy history at making our best play of the day an interception over. We have.
I won the last one though.
You won the last.
The corner.
We cashed a bunch of those throughout the season. We cashed a whole bunch of those Stafford interceptions.
Oh, we should have. We just happened to jinx the quarterbacks half the time. But I was going to ask what Lenny's favorite play was because we already heard Allie's favorite play was Stafford.
Yeah, my favorite. I got a couple. I got sheets of props. Yeah. I think I have 19 props bet. And they, tread lightly. I tell people all the time, like, I'm sprinkling some money on some of this stuff. Like, Snoop Dogg is going to wear blue shoes. It's a little bit, it might be a $5 bet for the hell of it. But I really like Matt Stafford to throw a pick before he throws a touchdown at plus 220. I think he throws a pick before he throws a touchdown. Knowing Matt Stafford, he has to. I told Allie when they played the Niners in the NFC Championship game, I said, Matt Stafford has to throw an interception for the Rams to win. And she's like, this doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, no, he has to play from behind. He's that guy. He can't, if he's up 20 points or whatever, he's going to chuck it like Brett Favre blind, sideways, and he's throwing it down the field, and hopefully somebody catches it that's on his team. So I like that, plus 20. I do like Odell to score anytime touchdown, and Van Jefferson. Blows both Odell is, I think, plus 120, 130. And Van's plus 300. And I think Van Jefferson could be a sleeper for the Rams because I think everybody's going to try and focus on Kupp and Odell and everybody else. And Van Jefferson could just sneak out the backfield through the slot and go deep. And Matt Stafford has no problem throwing it deep.
Very good. Hey, Ali, let me ask you, what is the matchup you're looking at? What's the most important matchup, even if it's under the radar that people aren't talking about? What are you going to be watching today as far as making any live plays, or what are you going to be keying off of?
Well, I'm actually going to Lenny's house to watch the Super Bowl. So I'm just going to hand over my phone when I get there and say, just make all the bets because I want all the money.
Absolutely. So you're just going to drink. You're just going to drink margaritas and watch the game and watch Lenny make money for you.
Yeah, she's going to watch me pace and in play like crazy.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
To see him lose his mind.
All right,
I
Lenny,
believe the term is she's an investor. She's an investor with Lenny's betting system.
Part of the cartel.
Well, Lenny is very good at football. I mean, that's something it's one of those things. I always say handicap your handicappers, right? If someone's hot, you follow the hot person. If they're not hot, you roll off of it. Lenny is my football handicapper. He's my go-to guy. So I don't even need to think about it. I'm rooting for the Rams. I want the Rams to win all day, all night. For value, I've got Bengals action. And hopefully I can in-play some Rams on the way through. But I mean, Lenny's really my go-to guy on this. So
what's your hometown team that you're disappointed in is not there?
It's just as worse. It's just as bad as mine.
I don't know why you have to bring stuff up like that. It's the Texans, the Houston Texans. That's
I
where
told
I was born and raised.
I stand corrected. Oh, yikes.
Born and raised.
I'm a Jets fan.
University of Houston, and at least we've got a good college basketball team, I guess.
At least you can get some sympathy.
You did before last night, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
At home, even brutal.
Yeah,
they don't open at the Fortuna Center at all.
I mean, I have other stuff I could be doing, so I'll just.
Very good, Chris. You got any questions?
I think the biggest question: what do you guys think about Cincinnati's offensive line? Are they going to hold up today, or will Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and Von Miller make a giant mess of things for Joe Burrow?
I think he's going to get pressured. But, I hate this whole Joe Cool thing. I'm so sick of hearing that. But he is very good under pressure. He makes mistakes, sure, but, he's a young quarterback. But I think that's the matchup of the game, is the Rams D-line against the Bengals offensive line. I think that wins the game. If they can get to Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow's going to have some issues. But I sprinkled a little bit on Cam Akers and Joe Mixon to win MVP. I know normally, 99% of the time it's a quarterback and all that, but there's some great value on both running backs, and either one of those running backs could bust one out and maybe blow this game up. But I think the Rams D-line is going to get after him.
Okay, very good.
I like Joe Burrow a lot. I followed him at LSU. I was a big Ed Orgeron fan, and I really like Joe Burrow. I was sad that he went out last season because I really wanted to see what he can do. And hey, it's the next year. This is what he can do. He can make it to the Super Bowl. So there's a part of me that's really rooting for that kid. But I mean, the Rams it's going to make Lenny so happy. So I'm going to lean that way instead.
I've been riding the Rams all year, so I'm happy they're actually here. Nobody thought Cincinnati would be in the Super Bowl.
That is the best team in the league. I mean, they are just so fun to watch, and with Vaughn and Aaron and all of them and Cooper, and the list just goes on and on and on, and the Triple Crown. And I mean, it's just hard not to support the Rams. I think they're the better team on the field today. But, they wouldn't let us bet on this if it was a sure thing. So I'm looking forward to watching and seeing what happens. It's not one of those heartbreaking games where I'm going to be heartbroken if this team wins or the other way around. So
I'm going to cry if the Bengals win.
Cry.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Man tears.
I'm gonna clear out my camera space, right?
No.
Scott and I already had those games. They were called the AFC divisional round for me. It was the AFC championship for him. So fortunately, we don't have to go through that today. I still think.
But we have to go through Houston. Okay, no, that's fine.
Who's going to be your quarterback next year in Houston?
I don't know.
Okay.
Good answer.
Okay.
Good answer.
Do you? Do you guys know? Let me know.
I don't think Davis Mills acquitted himself pretty well for what he had to work with.
He would be my guess. If I had to pick one, he would be my guess.
You pick Davis Mills?
Yeah. I don't think Watson's going to be there, or nobody really knows if he's even going to be in the league next year because you'll have to wait for all that legal stuff to play out. Mills, for all the rookie quarterbacks out there, and a lot of them struggled, like Wilson, like Lawrence, etc. Mills, considering his situation, actually played pretty well. I think he definitely earned a second shot with the new coaching staff.
I didn't hate him. I did not hate him.
Yeah, I don't think he played. I don't think he played himself out of a job or anything like that. If anything, he's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot there. So,
well, he's better than Tyrod Taylor, and I can say that firsthand watching Tyrod play in Buffalo before. Clearly, Taylor's not the answer. And, if Houston can get some more players around him, they can do something. Am I saying they're going to win the AFC South next year? No.
Hey, one of our guys
telling Reichel the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl anytime in the next 3 decades.
I think I laughed at you because I just agreed with you. 3 decades I thought was kind of generous, if I'm being honest.
One of our guys over at Whiners, Dave the Dominator, wants to know if you guys have factored in the home field advantage for the Rams, even though they are technically the visiting squad, obviously playing in their home field. You guys think that makes a difference?
For the Rams, it's tough because you never know what percentage of the stadium's actually going to be Rams fans. And you saw in the NFC title game, they won, but were they really the home team there? I don't really know. It seemed like there was a lot of red in the stand. So I do think that the issue you run into with the Rams or even the Chargers, for example, is the fact that a lot of the fans don't necessarily sell out the stadium. So if you want to go by percentage, which is what I factor in the attendance for home field advantage, are we sure there's going to be more Rams fans there than Bengals fans? Because I'm really not sure.
Lenny, what do you think?
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm not sure about that. I think you're going to see a lot of Hollywood is going to show up. Okay, obviously it's in LA. You're going to see that, but you're going to see it in the boxes. You're going to see them in the suites. You're not going to see them in the everyday fan in the, in the stadium part where the average Joe sitting or whatever. I think you're going to be kind of split. I don't think the Rams really have home field advantage here. I just don't.
And a lot of times when we talk about home field advantage, it's because there's travel involved or a weather differentiation. I mean, the Bengals have been in LA for a minute now. This is indoor and it's LA, so it's beautiful weather anyway. But, a lot of those things that give you a home field advantage don't exactly count in this game because they've been working out in LA for a minute now, so time difference and stuff like that. It doesn't factor in exactly the same for me.
I've seen some stuff on Twitter that indicates that the Bengals didn't necessarily travel very well for this game. It was one of the lowest totals of tickets sold within a state for a team in a long time.
Really?
Does that surprise you guys? I thought there would be more excitement for Who Day Nation. No,
for the first Super Bowl in 30-something years, I figured they'd be flocking over to go to this game.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody in the city, the Detroit would look like a ghost town if Detroit was in a Super Bowl anywhere. Everybody would be there. Whether we could buy a ticket or not, we'd be standing outside rioting until we get in.
Yeah. We hadn't been there in 50 years, and half the city went there to Miami.
So everybody would go. But I think maybe today you'll see some more Rams jerseys in the stands, but I don't know. I think the public, like the everyday, not the everyday better, like the kind of nonchalant better, kind of like randomly the guy that just bets the Super Bowl, they're betting on Joe Burrow. They're betting on Cincinnati. My wife thinks Joe Burrow's cute, so she wants Cincinnati to win.
He totally is.
Does that make her a Niners fan too?
Super cute.
No, she can't stand Jimmy G.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
He bugged the crud out.
She says he looks douchey.
Okay.
So, yeah. So she's like, she says I like Joe Burrow's swag. But we said that like when he got drafted.
Yeah. Zodwig says wants to know if Reichel's going to take a bath in Skyline Chili if the Bengals win the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Are you going to pay me to do that, Zodwig, or are you just asking me to do that on my own?
By the way, Skyline Chili, the most overrated food product in America.
I didn't even know what that was till yesterday.
Is that the cinnamon one?
Yeah, stop putting cinnamon in chili. Knock
Our
it
boss
off.
is from Cincinnati. Craig Trapp, the owner of Picks and Parlays, is from Cincinnati. So maybe we should make a side bet with him, Lenny, that he has to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Craig Trapp in a bowl of chili.
That might be true.
It's
Okay,
nasty
I
shit.
retract.
By the way, but David, to address that question, though, about the home field advantage, the fact that we don't even know how strong the home advantage is going to be makes me feel like it's not as important as people want to make it out to be.
Right.
All right, very good. Hey, you guys, I know you guys got to get going. You've got a big day planned. Tell us what you got going on over there at Picks and Parlays for your pre-Super Bowl stuff.
Well, I've got a whole episode of Morningwood that's about to go off at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I got last Woody standing entries they've got to put in, and we're going to ring up some player props on my whiteboard here. So we're just going to get our bets ready, and then I'm cruising over to Lenny's house and cracking open a beer and seeing what happens today.
Excellent. Lenny, what do you got planned?
I'm going to take a nap before Allie Burns gets here because she's a handful. And then I'm going to get up and go to the couch. And then I'm going to lay on the couch and play the hell out of this game.
Now, is there a prop on the over for Lenny drinking Maalox during the game?
There will be no Maalox. There will be a lot of Crown Royal. There will be a lot of Crown Royal. Yeah. Yeah. Lenny will probably turn the TV off at the end of the first quarter.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for joining us. Looking forward to talking to you guys some more, having you maybe on our show and maybe on Chris's show as well.
Yeah, anytime. Yep. Thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate the time. And hey, go Rams.
Well, it's good to see you.
Go football squares. Go football squares. That's where I'm at.
Go Squares. You guys take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Thanks for having us.
All right, bye-bye. All right, very good. That's a fun pair. I got to start listening to the show. Reichel, did you write all those ideas down?
I was wondering what we can somewhat plagiarize without getting caught. I was trying to picture it in my head. I actually do have a college basketball play that starts in like 3 minutes. If you're interested, I got the over in the Iona Monmouth game.
State? Okay, good chat.
No, I got the over in the Iona game.
Oh, Iona. Yeah, well, I was disappointed with them last week when Rick Pitino lost to Niagara of all teams.
That's why I got the total.
Reichel gets up today and goes, "Oh shit, it's Iona Day."
Well, my logic was, I said it in the video, was that we already had 2 Super Bowl shows with my thoughts on the game and props, and we were doing a live stream today. So I didn't really want to do a 4th one. So I found something that people can pregame the Super Bowl with if they want to gamble.
There you go.
On our show, it's not Iona Day, it's IUPUI Day because
we talked about it for sure. Julian Flores says, "I love this. All my favorite handicappers in one spot. Let's get some money." All right, we're ready to do it. Hey, we told you we'd have a lot of guests, and we do. We're going to bring in another heavy hitter, and this is a cat that we got to know down in Tampa. Chris, I know you've had him on your show, and I'm excited. I'm excited for him to make a debut on the show with us. So it's Rock Riley, everybody. He's covered over a dozen Super Bowls, along with the World Series, Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Finals, and of course major college bowl games. He hosts a very popular podcast called The Rock Stops Here. Love that. And he lands big name guests from the sports and entertainment field. Ladies and gentlemen, let it go with your applause. It's Rock Riley, everybody. What's going on, Rock?
How you guys doing? It's Super Bowl Sunday. Is there a better day in the year? Is there a better day, guys?
Well, for you, Rock, it was Ric Flair's party the other day, which you didn't invite me to. I was a little disappointed. You know, Jim said you were going to call him, and then you didn't. So he was bummed about that, too.
Oh, he's loving life. He's moved down here to Tampa, and then I saw just yesterday he bought a boat. So he's living his best life. Good for him.
You know, when Chris came on before Scott joined us, I told Chris, it looks like the Losers Lounge with him and all his Buffalo stuff and me with my Chief stuff. And now we bring in a guy from Tampa Bay. So welcome to the Losers Lounge, Rock.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with you guys. Really is, man.
It's an honor just to be nominated.
There you go.
What do you think about the Tampa Bay Rams game? Did that Rams team really impress you, or was it Tampa Bay just couldn't get it done?
You know what? I think it was a combination of both. I mean, Brady had absolutely no time at all. Had the injuries on the offensive line, and we didn't have any time. Even the greatest of all time, the GOAT, can't overcome that. I was there at the game, watching in the press box, and my buddy is the play-by-play announcer for the LA Rams. We used to work together here. And I said to him, you know what? I really haven't seen Brady all season look like this. And he goes, he's got no time. And I'm like, wow, there's an LA Rams broadcaster that could see it. But the Rams were playing, they're playing good ball in the playoffs with the additions, Von Miller, a couple of other guys that they brought in. So they're feeling it. And I do want to mention, I honestly think that being able to be in your same practice facility, the same hotel they stayed at last night that they stay in for every game, because as you know, even when it's a home game, NFL teams stay in the team hotel in town. They had their meetings. Everything was the same. And when I would talk to Buccaneer players from last year's Super Bowl, they said that when you take away all that craziness of Super Bowl week, and I know it's a little bit different because the Bengals, flew in late, but still, it was only, 5-6 days, but still, you sleep in your own bed. It's like a routine that you're used to. And I think that there's going to be a factor in that they're very, very comfortable with their surroundings. It almost seems like it's a regular week. And so that's what they told me last year for those that had played in the big game that were with the Bucs. And now the Rams have that situation and they're playing in SoFi. They'll go into like their same lockers that they use every Sunday. I think there's something to that.
I think you're right. I think that's underrated because people talk about the home field advantage and you immediately go to the crowd noise and it's going to factor in when the opposition is on defense, but you forget about the routine. And these guys are creatures of habit. And there's a reason why visiting teams generally don't do as well as the home team. And a lot of it has to do with the travel, the unfamiliarity, the lack of a routine that you're used to there at home. So I think that's a great point that you bring up, Rock. It certainly, even if the Rams don't have 90% of the stadium behind them per se, they have a huge advantage because they're in their regular routine.
And you know what? You just brought up a good point. And I didn't even realize this. I always thought, I've covered all the major, pro sports. And I always thought that the baseball players, we had Wade Boggs that lived here, used to have chicken every single game. And I was like, oh my God, baseball players, they are such creatures of habit. But I'll tell you, I was at every Buccaneer practice this year. And when you go there, you see like Leonard Fournette comes out at this time. He hangs with these guys. Brady comes out at his time, same thing every time. They do the same routine before they start practice. You're right. Players, even in the NFL, they are creatures of habit.
All right. So having said all that, we're asking everybody on the show today, give us your pick, give us your favorite prop play. Or if you got more than one, give us more than one.
Well, my one lock that I would have would be Cooper Kupp is going to score a touchdown. I mean, I will pretty much put that, I will be shocked if that doesn't happen. I really want the Bengals to win. I really do. I have some relatives through marriage that are in Cincinnati. Oh my God, they've waited so long. Hey, there's a reason. When you're in this game, there's a reason. It's not a fluke. There's a reason why you're here. But I honestly, when I'm breaking this down, man, I just can't. This pass rush, the Rams defense is so good. I'm predicting the Rams to win this one. I think it's going to be a close game, and I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I really don't even think they're going to hit the over/under. But I got the Rams winning this one.
But do you have the Bengals covered?
I was thinking, I know we talked about wrestling when you were on the show before. I don't know if you watched AEW the other night. The way I think of the Bengals offensive line was on AEW, Tully Blanchard came in and took his coat off and tried slapping CM Punk with it. I think that's basically what Cincinnati's offensive line is going to be doing, trying to block Aaron Donald.
And the thing, that's a good one. And they might have this rookie, the situation at right guard with the Cincinnati Bengals. If they have Aaron Donald over him, it's going to be rough. I really looked at their numbers, and since Von Miller has come in with Leonard Floyd and what he has done, I mean, it's going to be tough. Listen, Burrow is incredible. He is incredible. I found out last night that they do this quarterback Jeopardy on Saturday night at the hotel. And he's so competitive that he wins all the time, no matter what he does. And he's prepared. His head coach, Peter King, from his Monday morning quarterback, he rides one day a week into work with one of the Super Bowl coaches. And the Cincinnati Bengals head coach said, Joe Burrow, everybody loves him, and he's Joe Cool. And Joe Montana at Super Bowl week this week, I don't know if you saw that. They asked him, he was making the rounds on Radio Row,
right?
And they said, "You got the nickname Joe Cool." And Montana goes, "I'm too old. He can have that name now." Understandably so. But his head coach said he is so prepared. The work that he puts in, like he's very, very prepared. That's why he's so confident. So, I mean, anything can happen in this game,
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't, as we learned last week or 2 weeks ago in Kansas City, you can't count him out, even when he's down. So he did a heck of a job. That Bengals defense did a heck of a job in the second half. If that defense shows up, do they have a chance to win?
You mean the Bengals defense?
Yeah, the defense that we saw in the second half against the Chiefs.
Yes, I really do think so. You got to get a little pressure on Stafford. See, the thing about it is, though, with that Rams offense, if the defense is doing a good job locking down the receivers and they're getting a little bit of pressure, they still have two very good running backs and they're able to run it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stafford can also do the play action. He can go deep. So, yeah, I mean, hey, look at the odds before the season started. Who would have thought that the Bengals would be here? And they're here. I'll tell you one quick little note. I know you've got to move on. A friend of mine is in PR for the NFL. He did his 37th Super Bowl. He's in LA. He started with the Miami Dolphins and Don Shula. He's been there for 37 Super Bowls in a row doing PR.
Man.
He was assigned to UCLA on Friday when the Bengals had their in person. It was outside at the Rose Bowl or UCLA. And he came away with being so impressed with how Burrow and their head coach handled it. And he's been to 37 of them and done it. So, I mean, no moment seems to be too big for Joe Burrow and these Bengals right now.
Well, I know you mentioned that you think the Rams are going to win, even though a part of you is kind of rooting for Cincinnati.
Right.
A lot of people want to know if the Rams are going to cover. And I do agree with you. I was in the same boat where my brain is telling me the Rams should dominate up front, but getting points with Burrow and Cincinnati, who have really embraced the underdog role all season long,
Right.
Does 4.5 seem a little bit too high to you? Because I feel like you can make arguments on both sides.
No, I don't, because of Sean McVay. And I was listening to Stafford the other day and just how incredible a play caller he is and able to make adjustments on the fly. Stafford is fit in. So they're pretty darn powerful. I think it's going to be close, but that being said, I think they can win by more than 4 points.
Very good. Chris, you got anything before we go?
Well, I think the big question I have for Rock is this. I mean, we've seen both teams struggle again defending the pass. How big is Taylor Rapp coming back going to help the Rams secondary after he went out, with that concussion in Week 18? Now he's back. I mean, obviously you saw Brady pick them apart in the fourth quarter without him because he had Eric Weddle or the ghost of Eric Weddle. Can Rapp help that secondary tighten up with Higgins and Boyd? And apparently C.J. Uzomah is going to play with that MCL sprain. Right. Can they shut those guys down?
Yeah, no, you make a very good point. That is a huge addition to get him back. Here's the thing. Jamar Chase is pretty much unstoppable. And Raheem Morris, now nobody talks about this. This is a huge game for Raheem Morris. He is the Rams defensive coordinator. In the past, Jalen Ramsey stays on the number one receiver. He hasn't done that this year. They've moved him around because Mike Evans was telling us that normally Jalen Ramsey is on me, but he goes, they're doing it a little bit different. This is a huge game for Raheem Morris because he wants to get a head coaching opportunity. If he's able to shut down or at least contain Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the other two receivers, if they can step up, he moves around Jalen Ramsey. I still think Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Jamar Chase, but we'll see. So this is big for Raheem Morris because he wants a head coaching opportunity. And if he's able to do that, he's going to get his shot again. Because I don't know if you guys remember, he was a young head coach here with the Buccaneers. He was good, but he wasn't ready. He was going to some of the bars, partying with some of the players. No, you can't do that. He was so young. And he stayed in. He's worked his way back. He's now defensive coordinator for the Rams. So I think this is a big game for him and how he's going to try to hold down that Bengals offense.
All right. Very good. Yeah, I think that you're right. That has not been talked about much at all, is the Raheem Morris angle, and it is a very good one indeed, because he has a lot going on there as far as wanting that next head coaching job, and it would be a tremendous feather in his cap if he can get that Super Bowl win. I agree. You guys got
I just have one question to ask for Rock. I know you said you like the Rams to win the game. Do you have a prop that you're looking at?
Maybe Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon over 100 yards, maybe. Okay. How about I go with that? I don't know if I really feel that in my heart. I mean, I'm wanting that.
Well, you can always go back to the Cooper Kupp touchdown one, Rock.
That's the one that's my lock. That's my prop bet. Cool. That's my prop bet. I don't see how Cooper Kupp does not score a touchdown in this game. That's my one.
All right, very good. By the way, thanks, Elliot, to come in on my new backdrop. We did a overhaul for the.
I didn't look.
I think he was talking about mine
last time.
Talking about Scott's backdrop in front of.
He added a laughing emoji there, so I think he was talking about mine. So I'll take it.
Outstanding. So you guys, how did you feel after that Tampa Bay game? Did you feel like you let one get away, or did you feel like the better team won, Rock?
No, that day I definitely felt like the better team won. Like I said, they had the injuries. The Antonio Brown situation, it made a lot of play around here. He's not right. He is not right. I'm there at practices. And if it's just, he just catches a pass and he's like, yeah, like he's screaming. And I said, what is going on with him? And then when he comes and talks to us media geeks at the podium, and he's like, I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed. I'm like, he has a split personality. There is something not right about that.
Vince McMahon's going to him next week. Watch.
Oh my God. So, everybody's all that. That's what really put Brady over the top. I don't think so. I just think that it's so hard to repeat. The year before, they didn't have any injuries, and they had all that. So, they got that far, but no, this is more the Rams' year in the NFC South, and I think, they're feeling pretty good. And then Sean McVay with the pool reporter on Friday, they do a pool report, and he was like watching the faces of his players. He goes, we're locked in. We are prepared. Now we'll do the best. We'll see what happens in the game. We're locked in. Everything. And I'm watching these guys and some of the veteran guys. And I heard Aaron Donald saying, they're hungry. We're hungry, man. We're hungry. We're hungry. So I guess you could say that on both sides, because if they're there and they're both feeling pretty good, but that's how I feel about the Rams winning that game and then moving on. Yeah.
So nobody's walking around and we're just happy to be here then, Rock.
What's that one more time?
I said nobody's walking around saying we're just happy to be here.
No, not at this point.
It's LA. It's an honor just to be nominated, right?
There you go. Exactly.
All right, Rock, before we let you go, everybody's talking about the Cincinnati offensive line against the defense of the Rams. Is there one under the radar matchup that you're looking at that's going to help you decide about if you're on the right side or not, or whether you might change during the game?
Yeah, that's my thing. The right guard situation for the Bengals is kind of up in the air. They may rotate. If you rotate, that's not good either. A lot of times offensive linemen will tell me you get in a rhythm. When one guy comes in and then he's in for a bit, then another guy's back in, and one of them is a rookie. And like I said, Aaron Donald cannot be stopped. But if Joe Burrow, if they go to the quick passes, use some screens, Mixon is good like that, to try to, help out in that way, then maybe. Look, I'm looking, I'm stretching. I heard Warren Sapp. Now, I covered Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was a handful. I will say that as a person, but he knows football. And he did an interview the other day, and he says he sees no way that Joe Burrow is going to be able to have time at all. And he studies defensive lines. So it could be a long day for that Bengals offensive line.
I know a lot of people are thinking it could look a lot like that Tampa Bay situation last year against the Chiefs and their patchwork offensive line, where that Tampa Bay front seven just absolutely dominated the day.
And see, remember though, they played together the whole season. They weren't injured. You know what I mean? So there's that. And now 3 of those guys were made the All-Pro this year. So
yeah, an outstanding team for sure. All right, Rock. Well, we definitely appreciate it. We know you got a lot going on today. Where can our viewers / listeners find you, read you, hear all about you? What do you got going on, buddy?
Yeah, just check my social media on Twitter and Instagram at Real Rock Riley, at RealRockRiley, and then Facebook Rock Riley. And then I post all my stuff there. You got to post it. You got to get the word out, because if I don't, nobody else is going to do it, right?
That's absolutely right. It's nice.
Yeah, Rob, we're going to have to get you back on with Jim and I sometime soon, too.
You got it, Chris, no doubt.
Very good. It's good to have an original ink-stained wretch on our hands. It's very nice, Rock. Thanks very much. What do you got? Big plans for the day? You just gonna take it easy at the house?
I was going to. My in-laws have invited us over, and they're making Skyline chili. I'm really not. But it's Cincinnati, and I think we'll go over there. Then we'll watch the halftime show. Okay. I did get to interview Snoop Dogg. Oh my God! This year he was at one of the Bucs games. He does a show on Peacock. He's unbelievable. The fans, it was like the Pied Piper was going. Every single, whether you're a techie, you're pulling cable, everybody wanted a picture with him. So I'm looking forward to seeing the halftime show. And they're only 8 minutes away. And then I'll get back here, and hopefully the girls will be doing their things. Don't bother me, so I can concentrate for the second half.
All right, very good. Sounds like a blast, my friend. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to have you on our show as well. So we'll keep you busy. Have fun for the game. Enjoy the knockoff Skyline chili, and we'll talk to you again soon, Rock.
All right, a pleasure, guys. Thanks,
Rock.
All right, thanks, man. There he goes, everybody. Rock Riley, good dude, good writer.
He's got. He can tell you some great stories about everything from the NFL. We had a great talk about pro wrestling. Like he said, he was at Ric Flair's party last week. Put up a bunch of videos from there. Interestingly enough, Scott, he said Ric Flair said that, or Hulk Hogan said the number one wrestler of all time was Ric Flair, and then put himself at number 2.
Nice. Outstanding. Elliot says you can't stand too close to Snoop. I was gonna ask Rock if you all of a sudden it smelled like skunk when Snoop walked in, but that's
now real quick. Tell me this? Eric Bieniemy, is he still going to be in Kansas City next season?
Yes. Yeah, they want him back. They're going to
because I saw that they said it was uncertain if he was going to be back from what ESPN was reporting this morning.
Well, I see now. I haven't caught up today. The last I heard, it was unicorns and roses around here that general manager wanted him back. Andy wants him back. So personally, I think he needs to get out of here. I think he needs to get out from underneath of Andy's shadow and show that he can actually be the man who calls the plays and runs the offense himself without any questions.
But we know that he's had a hard time of actually getting head coaching jobs in the NFL. Do you think that he's automatically getting a job in 3 minutes as an offensive coordinator somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think
our next guest, when he comes on, is probably going to ask why Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a head coaching job somewhere.
I think he's got an excellent point. I have the same question myself. David Hess wants to remind everybody Elimination Chamber is in 6 days.
Sounds like David wants a show on it.
We talked about having David on to do a show. I think we'll do
I think that'd be an interesting show.
Segment. You can bet on it, dude.
I know.
Yeah,
which is sad, isn't it? You can bet on something that they've already scripted out and determined.
It's only sad if you lose.
I'm guessing they've got that pretty much limited as far as what you can bet, because there's a number of people that know.
Right.
With a regular sporting event, quote unquote, for wrestling fans, I'll put the air quotes in there, but you don't have any idea unless you go down this conspiracy rabbit hole. But for the most part, you don't have any idea who's going to win or what the outcome is going to be. And you absolutely 100% know what the outcome is going to be in a wrestling match.
Right.
The limits are very low, though, so you can just do it for more of the recreational purposes.
They have to be, or you could get to the writers, because those guys. I was actually up for that position at one point. They needed a weekly writer for the WWE, and they pay almost nothing. I mean, it's like $60,000.
Yeah, so, and the turnover rate for that they get burned out so quickly. I think the average lasts about 6 months.
Yeah, you have to travel with them, and you have to be on call for all kinds of rewrites and stuff. It was insane, dude. It was much harder. It was a much more rigorous schedule than like writing for television was, and we made way more money than that. So. It's
plus you got to deal with all the egos and stuff too. I mean, and the biggest in the WWE, of course, comes from Vince McMahon himself.
Yeah, if I wrote a script, Daniel Stern wasn't breaking down my door at 3 a.m. going, "What the fuck is going on with this?" So, yeah, it was definitely a situation where I think they could be got to with the right amount of money.
I think you're right.
If those limits were a little higher. So, Matthew Torvik says he's also watching Iona. Beautiful.
Well, Zodwick wants to know if said he's here for the Daytona 500 pick. Scott, who are you picking in the Daytona 500?
I haven't done research yet. Are we doing Are we bringing NASCAR back though?
NASCAR.
I did it a year or two ago.
I'm in for it.
Do you know NASCAR?
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of the races during quarantine and all that.
Were you any good?
Yeah, it panned out pretty well.
Okay. All right.
It was the only thing that was going on. So it's kind of like Allie was talking about with Russian table tennis. You learn stuff pretty quickly when there's nothing else to watch.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, at least they always talk about betting on cornhole.
Right. We spent. Well, although Scott didn't get sucked in, I got sucked in a little bit to Korean baseball.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, the Kaiwoom Heroes, man.
I know what I'm saying.
I remember betting on the first game that was ever actually on ESPN. I actually watched it. I had money on the Dinos.
Whatever it was.
I won the Dinos. I think they won the league that year. So I made money on that game. Never touched it again. Retired 1-0, and that was all I ever bet in Korean baseball. That was it.
Now you walk around talking about how you're undefeated.
Yeah, that's all you need.
We're waiting for a LA Bachelor to come by, but while we're doing that, let's take a look and see what we've got here. We had some questions submitted via social media, so let's see if we can catch from Kathy from Rams Horns. Do you think of Cooper Kupp with more catches than the Rams have sacks? Oh, there's an interesting prop.
Well, yeah. either she's thinking the Rams are going to have 52 sacks, or else Cooper Kupp's not going to catch a lot of passes. But we know that he's going to get force-fed the ball quite a bit.
I'm imagining what the juice is on the Kupp side, because I'd have to assume it's minus 300, probably higher, right?
I'd play that up to minus 200. I'd be okay with that.
Was that on the BetMGM site, or was that on somewhere else?
Don't know, buddy. Don't know.
Yeah, me either. I'm just curious to see what it would be.
Ben from Hawaii says he likes the Rams, not sure of the point. Should it take them on the money line? Traditionally, that's not the way it works out. Only 3 times since 1997 has the underdog covered the number and not won the game outright. So
crazy stat, though.
It is. It is a crazy stat. So I'm pretty much all about this. If you want to lay the points, lay the points.
Ben, I think my argument would be to kind of help you decide that if you know for a fact, that the Rams are going to win the game, but you're not sure if they're going to cover, then just place a bigger bet on the money line. I feel like it depends how confident you are in the Rams' ability to actually win the game. You say you like them to win. If you think that it's a stone cold lock, and you think that whether they win by 2 or by 7, you just think they're going to win the game, then just bet the money line because you're very confident in that, instead of trying to force a play you don't like.
Very good. Max from New Jersey. I like Joe Burrow throwing more touchdowns than Matt Stafford. I know that's a plus money play. I want to say that's around 3-2, around plus 150 last time I checked it. I don't hate it. I think overall
ties are a push.
I don't think so. I think it's got to clear.
Okay.
I'd have to check the rules for that one. I think overall the Bengals have more talent at the wide receiver position than the Rams do. There's a great question. Who do you want? You want Cooper Kupp? You want Jamar Chase? Chris?
What, to build a franchise around? Or I mean, what are we talking about? Or just today?
Right now. Yeah.
I mean, Jamar Chase is going to give you more splash plays because, Kupp's more of a glorified slot guy when you think about it. And that's going to be a big key today, too, is he's going to be guarded by Mike Hilton. And Hilton was kind of chewed up in the slot this season. I'd probably take Chase just because of the fact that he can make big plays and, he's younger. Obviously, doesn't have the mileage that Kupp has.
Scott, what do you think?
If I'm building a franchise and everything like that, I'm taking Chase. I think Chase, when he came into the league, I just thought was going to immediately walk in as a top 10 receiver in the league. And he's already basically top 5 in his rookie season, which is absurd. But yeah, I think that Kupp, even though he's amazing, I do think the McVay system and everything helps. where Chase pretty much single-handedly changed the entire Bengals offense from last year because the offensive line still isn't very good. Burrow did play for the first half of last year, and they still had some mixed results. But Chase is just such a matchup nightmare. And even though Kupp is insanely good, I'm not saying that he's not. I do think the youth of Chase swings it for me.
Okay.
Now, let me just throw this one out real quick, though, Scott. Would you take Chase or Justin Jefferson from Minnesota?
Chase.
I would go Chase. I love Jefferson. I'm
Yep.
a big Jefferson guy. But even in college when they were on the same team, I just thought Chase was significantly better in terms of talent.
He's top 10. He ain't top 5.
Yeah. By the way, to address the comment section, Summer, I wasn't saying necessarily that you should just automatically slam big money on the chalk. What I was just saying is that if Ben loves the Rams to win the game, but he's not sure about the spread, then you shouldn't gamble on the spread. That was my point.
All right, fair enough. Karen from NOLA says, I'm a new bettor. Can you give me some pointers for today's game? Absolutely. The first thing I would say, if you're a new bettor, is tread lightly because there's a lot, and I would say go easy on the props, especially extreme long shot props, and especially props where you're laying a ton of money. Keep it in the minus 130 to plus 120, 130 range, and just take a little sniff. Have some fun. Don't make this the time where you're going to just jump in with both feet. There are much better and more profitable betting opportunities with other sports later in the season. So I would say just tread lightly, have some fun, bet enough where you're happy if you win, but it doesn't affect you too much if you lose.
Yeah, because there's too many wackadoo props out there that people end up chasing inevitably.
Right.
With long odds, hoping that they pan out because they lost a bunch of other bets they had.
And this is one of the few games where the bookmakers actually want the books balanced. They're not going to take a position in this game if they can help it. They know there's going to be so much money that they really want to keep the totals on both sides as even as possible. So consequently, the numbers are likely to be pretty darn sharp.
Right.
Let me see here.
My advice was going to be the same as yours, just bankroll management.
Here's another question about Burrow to throw more TDs. Right. Yeah, absolutely. OBJ over 75. Now, Scott, you got a really good number on OBJ at 60.5. How do you feel about 75? Are we pushing the envelope there?
Well, the thing is, he had 100 plus last game, and we were talking about Kupp and how nobody's been able to stop him the entire season. It just seems like he's wide open all the time. However, if you are anticipating Stafford to play pretty well in terms of passing yards, and the Bengals to give Kupp, I don't want to say all of the attention, but a lot of it, then you're probably looking at single coverage for Eli Apple. I'll take my chances. I still like the over. I think OBJ really has a shot to reach 100 if he gets targeted enough. And I do think that with the amount of receptions or the amount of targets that OBJ gets, how many catches do you think he realistically needs for 75 plus? 6? Maybe 5?
I was going to say 7.
I think he could get a 20-something yarder if he ends up beating Eli Apple down the seam or something. So I don't mind the over. You'll get a nice plus price on it. I do think OBJ should play pretty well in this spot.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she went with 75 because at BetMGM it's still over 63.5.
And we'll give that piece of advice to everybody out there listening. Of course, we give it on almost every show that we do. Shop those lines. Never is it more important than it is right now in this game because there are wildly disparaging numbers. There's a wide disparity between the numbers, especially in the props. Obviously, in the sides and the total is not going to be that much, although there'd be a half point here and there. And some of the numbers, you're a key number right now at 49 or so on the total. Keep an eye on that because if you're like the under, get another half point out of that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's possible that you're going to see that number shift. I mean, like we said, we might see the number move as far as just the point spread. So you would have to think the total wouldn't be far behind. We've seen both these teams put up some pretty prolific offensive numbers all season long. They were both averaged up better than 27 points a game in the regular season. So it wouldn't surprise me to see somebody chase it and push it up.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
I'm looking at a live play for the totals because I do think we all, at least I know that Scott Steehn and I agree. I'm not sure how Chris feels about it, that most Super Bowls tend to be a bit of a feel out process in the first quarter. So I do think you will see a lower scoring first quarter, which could allow you to potentially find solid value in game on an over where you might save a couple of points.
Yep.
Yeah, currently in most books it's at 48.5. Caesars it has it at 49.
Sean from Philly says, I like T. Higgins to score the first Bengals touchdown. Don't hate it at all. And you're probably getting a pretty good price. First Bengals touchdown, so that's probably going to be what, plus 300, 350, something like that?
I'd assume it would be higher because you probably have Mixon. Chase is going to be the favorite there. You got Mixon as well. The thing is, with any first touchdown scorer, I mean, you're basically just playing the roulette wheel. I mean, it's a matter of, can you get the target in the end zone or can your guy break it? And a lot of it's going to be just a large amount of luck, if I'm being honest, for first touchdown. But Higgins will get the targets in this game. And if you think Ramsey will be following Chase pretty much the entire game, then I do think they might pivot and throw a decent amount to Higgins like I thought they would against the Chiefs.
Yep, absolutely
First
true.
touchdown score for the Bengals, Higgins is going off at plus 650 according to MGM.
Just for the Bengals, not first touchdown overall.
Right, that's first touchdown score for the Bengals. He's at plus 650.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's impressive. Jan from NOLA says, I have Sean McVay for the first challenge. Is that a good bet? I have no idea. I'll be completely honest. I have done a lot of research for this game. I have not researched who threw the most challenge flags, so I don't know.
Quick look real quick, just for
I'd have to compare the price, and then I'd have to compare how many they've each thrown to be able to work the math on that and tell you whether that's a good player.
McVay challenged 5 times in the regular season and won 3.
Okay.
So he was actually looks like he led the league in challenges. 5
challenges?
No, I'm sorry. He didn't lead in challenges. That was something else. Zach Taylor actually challenged 9 times.
Okay.
And won 4.
So I would say unless you're getting somewhere around plus 150, then it's probably not a good play.
And the winning doesn't even matter because it's just whoever challenges first.
That's
right. I was just pointing out what the actual percentages were on those.
Okay. So would you guys agree with me there? Plus 150 is your
yeah, I think it would have to be at least.
I'm assuming it's a 3-way line because there's probably going to be one section of no challenge in the entire game.
Yeah, that's probably true. Dan from Pittsburgh, I like Burrows to rush for over 10 yards. You like that play, guys?
He's going to be running for his life. You just hope he runs forward.
Well, the problem with that, sack yardage counts against it, right?
No, that's college. Kneel downs count.
Yeah, kneel downs count.
Sack yardage counts against passing.
That's right. Passing yards.
That's right. Kneel downs count for sure. Kim from Philly says, I like the Rams in the under. I don't hate it. Stafford for MVP. Traditionally, it's
if the Rams win, you'd have to think he's probably going to be the front runner because he's the guy driving the train.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to pick up some value. I saw him. What did we see him at? Plus 130, plus 140?
Yeah, I think I saw him at plus 140.
So it's a bit of a gamble, but the way that you can look at it is if the quarterback wins the award the majority of the time and you think the Rams win, it's riskier, but you're basically saving about what, like $1 plus on the money line if you think that Stafford just wins MVP automatically.
Yep. It's so funny. Kim from Philly likes the Rams in the under, and Tal from NYC likes the Bengals in the over. And your thoughts on in-game betting? Huge fan. Be doing a lot of it. That's my thoughts.
I gave my thoughts on the total.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would wait. My piece of advice would be, and you kind of touched on it, Scott, wait till after the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's an injury or some huge momentum thing where somebody goes down 14-0, and of course then a lot of your value is going to be gone. But I would wait till the first quarter is over to start making those plays. Chris?
I agree. I mean, if you get in too early, then you're setting yourself up for failure. It'll be no different than betting ahead of time. So you might as well wait until you see how things have felt out. It's kind of like a boxing match. You got to wait for the first round to end and see how they come back out. It's kind of like when you get punched in the face for the first time. What do you do then?
What is it Mike Tyson used to say? Everybody's got to play until they get punched in the face.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. All right. Do we have any more questions? I think that's it. Okay, cool. All right. So we're just waiting for L.A. Bachelor, by the way. That's what a great name.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He knows a ton of stuff about pretty much everything. We've talked a lot about HBCUs and things like that when he's been on the show. He's a Steelers fan, so he's talked to him about that. I'm sure everybody wants to know who the quarterback is there. I told him that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be there, and he said that he'd be right there with a lead pipe to slug him on the way out of the airport and then dump him on the side of the road.
Hey, let's catch up on some comments here. Paul Henshaw says both teams have 2 or more field goals plus 225. Eesh.
The Gay is the question mark because he's had the injuries in the past, and McPherson you just assume is going to have 2+. But I do think that with the injuries that Gay's had, or even just the lack of just being reliable at times, I think that's the question mark.
Yeah, McPherson, he's kicked 4 field goals in each game. So,
Rory O'Connor asked about the prop that I'm always interested in, and it is the anthem going to be over under 130? 130. The word is out, guys, because this had climbed up to 140 2 days ago. I liked under 140.
You don't like under 130?
I do not. 130 is a no play for me. I would lean under, but I think it clocks in somewhere in the 32 to 35 range.
I said my favorite play, or the funniest play you can do, is to try to middle the national anthem bet, which I think is hilarious. You get the over on one book, get the under on another. You got 10 seconds to work with in the middle. I like the over. 90's too short.
Yeah, I think 90's just a tick too short. I really, if you got it at 140 and you got it at 130 now, I'm so middling that. I think that's an absolute middle lock right there, Chris.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I'm surprised that they're putting it up that low because normally it's 2 minutes or 2:05 or whatever the last few years.
Yes.
So,
I can't think of it. It's Mickey, and I can't remember her last name, but she's a country star, and she's kind of an up and comer in the country ranks, and she's known as Quickie Mickey when it comes to singing the national anthem. She has had a reputation of just kind of ripping through it. So we'll see what happens. Elliot wants to know about a kicker for MVP. No. It's never happened. Today would be.
You have a better chance of somebody like Mark Mosley winning MVP again, like he did in '82 in the strike shortened season, than you do a Super Bowl MVP coming out with as a kicker.
4 positions have never won the. Well, of course, offensive lineman is if you count 5, but you've never had a tight end, you never had a punter, never had a deep snapper, never had a kicker.
Fullback?
No.
Does Zonka count?
No, they didn't use him as a fullback for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to count him, or it'd be either him or Otis Anderson, because when they won Super Bowl 25, that's basically what he was.
Right. All right. Well, let's do this, guys, because we've talked about him, we've hyped him up, and now it is time to bring him on board. It's the one, the only. You know him, you love him. He is a founder and CEO of the Bachelor News Radio Network. Spent 30 years on-air talent, ESPN, on TV and radio in L.A., and he is out to expand his reach. Wanted to return to his hometown of Durham, North Carolina, where he founded one of the most influential minority radio ventures in the country. He's a solid sports broadcaster, always has a unique take on the issues. And don't be surprised if you're listening to this guy's show and you might hear people like Deion Sanders and Al Sharpton on the same show. I know I would listen to that. He is, and he's here with us right now, and that is the most impressive part. It's the one, the only LA Bachelor. LA, what's up, buddy?
Hey, happy Super Bowl to you.
Absolutely. We're pretty excited. Are you back home there in Durham watching the game?
No, I'm actually back in my native state of Connecticut dealing with some weather and snow. I had to come for some family stuff, but I guess I'll either be here to watch it or traveling and listening to it.
Yeah, sorry to hear about that, LA. I hope you're doing all right with all that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for that, man.
Very good. It is great to have you aboard. Are you excited about this matchup?
Well, like I told Chris and Jim, the Steelers are in it. It really doesn't matter either way. But I think it'll be a close game.
All right, very, very good. And do you have a wagering choice today on the game?
Well, if I was going to put a bet on it, I had the Rams and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, so I'm going to stick with Rams. You know, I think what are they, 4-point favorites now, or has it changed?
4.5.
4.5. Ooh,
little Rams money coming in.
Yeah, I think it might be Yeah, I might take the points on that. Because I see it as 3 or 4 points, like a field goal or 28-24, that type of thing.
That's how I feel.
As a Steelers fan, you got to see the Bengals twice this year.
Oh.
And
that's the same sound he made when I said Jimmy Garoppolo was coming to Pittsburgh.
No, I want no part of it. But knowing the Steelers, they may just go with Jimmy G or Ryan Fitzpatrick or some crazy situation. And, I want Russell Wilson and a draft pick is what I want.
Well, since I'm a Chiefs fan and we have no idea how to do it, I thought I might ask you as a Steelers fan, how do you beat this Cincinnati Bengals squad?
Well, Pittsburgh didn't certainly do it this year.
I thought we were 0-4, right?
Right. And so I think, but the Chiefs, the first time around against, and since they had it right, you get pressure with your front four and you play, well, they didn't have it right in terms of Chase, but you play a little zone in the back end, but you make sure you have a safety running anywhere Chase is going. But that's the only thing defensively I could see people doing. You have to get pressure. And he's been sacked 51 times this year. So teams get pressure. He hadn't seen Aaron Donald and that group before. All those almost Hall of Famers right there just on the defensive line. So they can do it. But I think that's really the only kind of formula to slow them down.
All right, very good. Yeah. Do you think that the Rams, because they play more cover 4 than anybody else in the NFL. They play cover 4 almost 42% of the time. And that's a defense that's set up to pretty much automatically shadow the best receiver with double coverage. The Bengals, they kind of mix and match. They play more cover 3 than anything else, but they will disguise their coverage and play some different looks. Right. Do you think the Rams are better positioned to take away the weapon and Chase than the Bengals are to take away Cooper Kupp?
I do. I think that because you have Ramsey, and certainly you still can't play man even with Ramsey, but you have that physical corner that can bump them, and they need to do that and make sure they shadow with the safety. So yeah, I think they got a better shot. Cooper Kupp, the Rams run so much motion, they move him in the slot, outside, in the backfield. It's going to be hard for them to pick him up. And I think the key is if the Rams are in 3rd and short or 3rd and long, and he's in the slot, then Hilton or whoever's the slot corner is, they're going to have to be physical and play. If they lose the battle there, then it's going to be a long afternoon.
I was going to ask you, LA, since you're familiar with Mike Hilton, since he was in Pittsburgh before, he had his ups and downs as a slot corner this year. How's he going to fare against Cooper Kupp? Because you figure that's going to be the matchup that's probably going to dictate a lot of the game as far as the Rams go.
See, I think he's going to struggle, and they're going to, and that's like you guys said, they like to mix and match their defense up, and their defense really is underrated in terms of how they finish the season. I mean, the offense gets all the accolades and all the attention, but the defense has really stepped up, made big plays, including in the playoffs. So they're going to have to help him because he's got his hands full in the slot with Kupp or whoever, even though OBJ they'll put in there. I mean, they mix it up so well. So those slot corners have got to play well. And if he struggles, they're going to have to make some adjustments.
Now, according to Pro Football Focus, Eli Apple's been a top 5 cornerback since week 10. Is that fool's gold, or has he maybe learned something and is going to be an asset in today's game?
I think it's fool's gold. I think he's played better, but he is one of those guys that you can burn. I've even seen him get beat on the double move a couple of times. So, he's improved, but I wouldn't say he's one of the top corners right now.
Okay, Scott, you got any questions for LA?
I feel like the way that one question I was going to have is actually about the MVP. I was kind of curious if you had any thoughts, maybe a long shot that you think that could potentially maybe make for a nice payday if things go right.
Wow. I mean, you got so many players that could be the MVP. A lot of people saying Aaron Donald, which is entirely possible. I still can't understand who a guy playing interior gets as many sacks as it's unheard of. And so I could see him doing that. I'm rooting for Stafford for that whole story. If he can come up, I'm still a little nervous because he tries to force that ball in there. So I'm nervous about those interceptions. And then, if Chase if they can move him around and make some plays with him, he could be the MVP. It's really up in the air. I'm rooting for Stafford though.
Yeah, it's a great redemption story, isn't it? After being in Detroit for the first part of his career, getting a chance there in LA, and
that's the thing. The thing is that when I heard they traded for him, I said, well, wow, I think they can go to the Super Bowl, because I've always thought the guy can play. He's got the arm strength and all. He can make all the throws, and outside of Megatron and I think Barry at the end of his career, if that, he really hasn't had a lot. He certainly hasn't had a defense. And,
right.
Football's not, I don't care how great Brady needed an offensive line to run a game, defense, Belichick. I mean, you can't win by yourself. So, I was happy for him. And when I heard he was traded to the Rams, I said, oh, yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl.
That kind of leads me into my question. I want to ask all three of you guys. I'll start with LA. Are the Rams here with Jared Goff and not Matt Stafford? LA?
Hell no.
Well, I think the Rams got to the first one because of Sean McVay. I think they're here because of Matthew Stafford, so I'll say no.
Okay. Scott, did you want to weigh in?
Hell no.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
To quote Vince McMahon, not just no, but oh, hell no. I mean, we saw Jared Goff. He had his chance 4 years ago and put up a field goal in a game against New England. I mean,
all right, I'll put you guys down as on the fence.
Yeah, mark me down as undecided. Come back to me later.
Yeah, I completely agree. Stafford has, you talk about all the interceptions that he threw, but he had a hell of a good season. He really did. He's got the weapons around him. LA, you kind of touched on it. The key, I think, for the Rams is going to be to keep Stafford out of trouble. And do you think one of my favorite plays is Hendrickson to record a sack? Because, we hear a lot about Donald and Floyd and Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. You don't hear anything about Trey Hendrickson, the guy who was actually fifth in the league in sack, had more sacks than anybody on the Rams defense. Do you think there might be a path for him to have a big day and steal the MVP at plus 175 or plus 1750, rather? 175 to 1. Yeah.
I threw that out on the prop show because I just think that people always talk about, especially for this one, Donald, and how he's the main defensive guy, and how if he dominates up front and maybe Stafford throws a couple of picks, doesn't have his best game, can he secure it if he has kind of like what his teammate Von Miller did, where you have a strip sack, a couple sacks, stuff like that. But 175 to 1 for a guy who's had a sack in 15 of 18 games this season, I do think there is a path if Hendrickson has 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and maybe Burrow throws a couple of picks. Is it likely? No, but it's 175 to 1. So I do think that you can make an argument that it is worth a shot.
LA, what do you think? If you're Matt Stafford, are you looking at Hendrickson? Are you worried about that?
Not really. I think that their offensive line have been pretty solid, and Stafford's experienced enough to they've seen enough film on him to make sure either they keep an eye on him or he gets rid of the ball pretty well. I think they're going to have a good game plan for him.
He's actually shown some wheels this postseason too. He's been not afraid to take off a couple different times and run for the first down. I think more than anything, that probably tells you how much this game means to him. Chris, what do you got for LA?
Well, first, I just wanted to address Hendrickson. Is he going to line up against Whitworth or Havenstein?
They might just move him around. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to remember if he is a guy who gets shifted around the formation or if he's just automatically one spot. Here you go. So I'm not fully sure of.
I think they're going to move. I think they're going to move him around if they keep and do what they've done in the past. Does Noteboom being out bother any of you guys?
He hasn't played in a while. If memory
That's what
serves.
I'm saying. If the Rams have some injuries, they're not very deep on the offensive line.
That's true.
It's obviously it's not going to come into play unless somebody gets hurt. But Whitworth is what, 70, so he's old. So he could certainly get that guy.
He's old, but he played for the Bengals. So I mean, talk about a return home.
Yeah, that's That's a good point.
Truth is, I don't know how much I can factor with injuries in general. I don't really know how much I can factor that in because that you're basically saying if the Rams lose their best offensive lineman, are they going to have problems? Like, yes, I feel like they would. Like, if Jamar Chase gets injured, are the Bengals going to have issues? Probably. So I do acknowledge the lack of depth, but you can't. I don't know if you can really factor it in because then you're just banking on one guy to get injured to change the entire complexion of a game. You know?
All right. Very good. LA, I've been asking all of our guests. We're obviously the matchup that everybody's concerned about, if you're a Bengals fan, is the Rams defensive line against the offensive line of the Bengals. Is there an under-the-radar matchup that you're keeping your eye on as you watch this game?
Not necessarily the defensive line versus the offensive line. I actually want to see what the other receivers, and I'm not sure if the Bengals tight end is going to play today. I know he said he was going to go. He won't miss it, but the other notes, if you will, and they're so loaded. But all the focus goes to Chase a lot, but you forget about Boyd and everybody else, right, on that team. So I think the key is what the Rams secondary can do against all those weapons that Barrow has to throw to, in addition to Chase.
Right. I mean, because for all the pub that Ramsey rightfully gets as the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL, the rest of the corners and the safeties, they don't grade out that well. None of them are in the top 40% on Pro Football Focus grading. Is there a mismatch to be had there? Because this Rams team has been susceptible playing their cover 4. Of course, that leaves you susceptible to short shots over the middle where you can get those guys in space. And I think with Tyler Boyd and with T. Higgins, you've got a couple of guys, and even Mixon out of the backfield, I think you've got some opportunities to get those guys loose and pick up some yards, no?
Absolutely, because when you look at the Rams linebackers, like you said, their corners, they give up chunk plays. And what's scary is in the seams, in the middle, Chase is going to get that look outside where it might be even like a rub route, or he just goes deep. They're looking at him all the time. Meanwhile, all the plays, Joe Mixon can come in the flat or over the middle and make plays. So, we talk about that front 4, how good and Von Miller and all those guys really are. But if you block them, you got a shot, because the rest of that defense is very, very you have the big ability to make some plays, in particular over the middle.
I agree. Scott Brown in the comment section checking in Jamar Chase over 80 yards and a TD. I like the TD part. I don't know that I love the over 80 yards. Guys, you got any thoughts on how many yards Jamar Chase puts up, or can Ramsey shut him down?
I'm kind of torn because Ramsey, I loved at Florida State. I thought he was a can't-miss prospect. And then he turned out to be the best corner in the league for a couple of years, in my opinion. But I've watched him in the playoffs, and didn't Mike Evans just absolutely torch him? I know some of it was in garbage time and all. But
it was a double move. He got beat.
But the point is that we know Chase has big playability. Do I think that Chase could potentially, make Ramsey maybe look a little bit foolish on a double move and break one for 60? Or I know in the past, they have used Ramsey on his favorite side, and he hasn't really followed the best receiver throughout an entire game. Now, this might be an exception, but I do think if Ramsey, for at least a couple of snaps, wants to stay on his preferred side, you might get Chase on the second corner, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then if that happens, and Joe Burrow is looking at that, and he see, oh man, Ramsey's on the other side, then he can go over 80 yards for the game. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Very good. All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you stopping by. We'll have to have you on our show as well. I know you've been a regular over there on Chris and Jim's show that they do. We'd love to have you on our show as well. Tell everybody what you got going on, where they can find you, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow. They can find us in a lot of places, but we are on YouTube at LA Bachelor. Of course, Big Mind Entertainment. If you have a Roku Fire Stick or any of that, you can download it and you can watch it there. We're also on the IBM TV, and you can catch the audio version of the show at thebachelornews.airtime.pro.
Very good. Very good. And again, thanks for stopping by. You got big plans today? You're going to be in the air, or shoveling snow for the game, pretty much.
Well, I'm definitely not shoveling any snow at all. I left that. I'm not doing any snow shoveling. But
Well played, sir.
either way, I'm gonna make sure I have something good to eat, and I'll either be watching it or listening to it. But I appreciate the time, guys.
Absolutely.
Safe travels, LA.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care, LA. We'll see you again, buddy.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, man. Bye-bye. All right, there he goes, LA Bachelor. Good dude. Yeah, we had some fun guests today, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's been a good show. I didn't kind of keeping everything moving here. We were gonna have Jim, and Jim's kind of under the weather. We're gonna have him curating the comment section a little bit. And so if you guys were in the comment section, I apologize for not being able to get to you as much as we usually do, as much as we like.
I got one question for the two of you, by the way.
Just one question? Okay, go ahead.
For now, are there any novelty props? I know we mentioned the national anthem. I mentioned a couple on the prop show. But are either of you going to dabble a little bit in maybe a Gatorade color or something involving the wardrobe in the national anthem?
Well,
the wardrobe for the halftime show.
Okay, well, I bet I did make money on Adam Levine not wearing a hat one year. So I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't done the massive, deep, exotic dive yet.
Isn't that a prop this year? There was a prop on if Eminem's going to wear a hat or not.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I'd have to see how he's been appearing lately. I would, off the top of my head, I would say no, but I'd like to see his recent appearances and what he's been playing. Now, Scott, you and I got the hot tip on the Gatorade color the other day.
I still like blue. I think blue is a tremendous value at 4-1 or 6-1.
Chris, we caught somebody said that he had inside knowledge. He liked the national anthem over and Gatorade yellow.
It was a curly something.
What's that?
That was the guy's username. It was like curly something.
Oh, it was I want to say Scritty Politi, but that's
there was definitely a curl.
Flirty Curdy.
Thank you. There it is.
Curdy, yes.
Yes, but he said he has inside information about the national anthem over and the Gatorade being lime yellow something. But I like blue. I might bet both.
Yeah,
I think both have a good shot.
It was blue last year. It's been blue 2 out of the last 3.
It's like 4-1.
Yeah, that's what it was at. Was plus 400.
My favorite was a couple years ago when somebody supposedly had an inside tip on purple, and you actually saw the purple like plunge and then get taken off the board, and it ended up not being purple.
I still can't believe clear is plus 175. Who the hell does a clear Gatorade bath?
It's water, bud.
No, water. I know it is. I thought the whole point is that it's a Gatorade bath. You're going to douse them with water?
The ever popular, it doesn't happen like with Belichick a couple times.
Bronco Devil says, I know politics, but the funniest one is Boyd yards versus Biden approval rating.
I'll take the Boyd yards.
I don't know who you're using. If you're using Real Clear Politics, or it depends on what poll. But I think Biden's somewhere around 41%, right?
Somewhere between 2 and 40. So
So I think you're around 40 or so. I think Boyd may get to 50 or 60. I really do.
I think so. I mean, obviously, if Burrow's running for his life and trying to get rid of the ball in a hurry, Boyd's gonna be a valuable target out of the slot.
First play run or pass, play action pass. That's my guess.
I don't think either team wants to run the ball on first down right now because you don't want to go into 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12.
Yep, agreed. Somebody asked about this earlier, and it might have been Bronco Devil again. First drive result, field goal attempt at plus 440. I like punt. Sorry.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it.
But it's not bad. I like it better than a touchdown.
Yeah.
So if you want to
Cincinnati, because Cincinnati has 4 touchdowns and 11 red zone drives in the playoffs.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
And here's an interesting stat for you too, Scott, that I saw. Aaron Donald had the same pressure rate while being double teamed as TJ Watt had all season.
Oh, that is so ridiculous. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised that Watt won the award, though, because he had that many sacks while missing a couple of games. But if you want to just give it to the best defensive player in the league every year, just give it to Donald. I mean, it's really not even a debate.
It really is. I mean, you know, the only guy that can give him a run for his money, and again, I would be a little bit of a homer here, is Chris Jones. But he only plays at that level about 20% of the time.
I was going to say about 3 games a year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And he has the ability to dominate. I mean, you saw him pancake a couple of guards in the last game that were just incredible bull rushes, but he's not consistent like Aaron Donald is. Aaron Donald does it day in and day out. So,
By the way, before we wrap up the show, I know we've been asking the question to every guest, but I'll ask both of you: any Super Bowl plans? Got anything fun set up?
I'm going to be here by myself, believe it or not. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be watching the game with the dog. My wife's at work. She'll be home for the second half. So, yeah, nothing. I'm staying true to the diet, by the way. Down over 6 pounds in 6 days. So I'm happy about that. That's the good thing about the Chiefs not being in the game. There's no big plans, nobody coming over. You're not getting groups together, eating shitty food. I can make my salad and be happy. What, Chris?
No such thing as shitty food. I mean, that's what you would normally eat, you know.
Yeah, good point indeed. Party here at the complex. Excellent. Chris, what are you doing?
Yeah, pretty much the same as you. I mean, I've got some work to do. My son's at work till 8, so I'll have to get him after that. But it's just me and my wife here. So,
Reichel, what are you doing? You going over to your buddy's house, or are you getting together with family? What are you doing?
You gonna take a nap?
My dad's gonna get a pizza. We're gonna watch the game.
All right, final.
I'm
thoughts.
not a big Super Bowl party guy because, believe it or not, as a sports fan, I actually like to watch the game.
You want to watch the game? Yeah, we had a debate about this on our show last week about whether you like to go to Super Bowl party. The overwhelming consensus from the comment section from the degenerate sports bettors are fuck no. I want to watch the game. I want to make in-game plays, and that's.
So you're gonna get a pizza. Where are you gonna get a pizza from, Scott?
I got a couple of local places in the area. I don't know if it's gonna be for the game or just a little bit before it, but at the end of the day, I'll kick back on the couch. I'll watch the game, and hopefully, it turns into a good one.
But when you get pizza, do you get wings too, or do you not get wings?
No, we're just gonna get the pizza and just kick it.
How do you not have wings?
Because we're getting pizza.
Have you ever heard of pizza and wings?
It's not exactly kosher to have both of them, so that's the
According
Jewish
to who?
alibi in there.
Apparently you haven't been to Western New York very often.
According to the Talmud, buddy. Argue with that.
I just did. There's Jewish people in Western New York. They don't care.
Hey, Chris, why don't you get off your ass and go open the Peace Bridge? Get the truckers off the bridge, would you?
I would, but it's about 800 miles north of here, remember?
Oh, that's right. You're in South Carolina. I was confused by your background.
I can send my brother and have him go do it.
All right, final thoughts, everybody. Skyline chili, yes or no, Chris?
No.
Scott?
I like cinnamon, so it's no offense to cinnamon, but no, that doesn't belong in a chili.
Yeah, those two things don't go together.
Stop fucking putting cinnamon in your chili. All right, guys.
The only thing I think is worse than that is St. Louis thin crust pizza. I never got into that.
Provel cheese, not a thing. Stop it. Just stop it. All right.
By the way, for fun, before we wrap up, one question.
Yeah.
Heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Scott.
I'm going heads. I'm feeling heads this year.
The team that wins the coin toss because everyone since 2014 that won the coin toss lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we had somebody with that stat the other day too. That's entirely interesting. I'm not sure it means a damn thing. So
also, Chris, question: will there be an octopus?
This isn't Detroit, so I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, you're talking about the 8 points?
Yeah.
We didn't know it was a thing, but now it's a running joke. Every time
Scott Hansen talks about it on the Red Zone channel.
Oh, okay.
Every video that we do at this point, there's one comment. But will there be an octopus? That's turned into a running joke.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard him talk about it on the Red Zone channel a couple times. I think when Danny Amendola did it for Houston or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think we're going to see one of those. I don't know if anybody's going to go for 2 unless they have to.
Yep, agreed. Totally agreed. All right, guys, it's been a blast. Thanks for hanging out here, doing a little pregame. Everybody in the comment section, everybody that watched, thank you very much, guys. As always, it's the ever-expanding Winners and Whiners Sports Betting Network, man. We are standing on the launching pad, and somebody just lit the fuse, man, and I'm excited for the journey. Chris, where can everybody catch you, brother?
Well, I mean, you can always read me at Winners and Whiners or Stat Salt, depending on what games I get assigned on any given day. And then Monday to Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the same channel that you guys are on. Just Parlays with myself and Jim Williams. And then if I show up on your guys' show or anywhere else, who knows?
Very good.
Every week.
Final score prediction, Chris.
I'm going to say 28-23. 23 in favor of the Rams.
Scott?
I'm going to go with 27-24 Bengals.
Okay. 24-20 Bengals.
And I'm going to say 74-2.
Okay.
In favor of everybody's favorite team from Chicago.
The Bills.
Yeah, Bears.
All right. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the game. Everybody out there, have a great day and enjoy the game. Hope all of your bets cash. Unless they are fading me, then fuck off. I hope you lose them all. Can I say that? I can't really say that. Hey, we'll catch you guys tomorrow as we do each and every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as Scott and I and everybody else at Winners and Whiners do our very best to help you in your journey to head back to the window. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the Super Bowl.